Good afternoon, everybody. And first of all, I'm going to apologize for the confusion in the time. We did have an issue with the time zones with Brazil and Europe, and therefore the meeting was a little bit later than originally planned. Uh, but it's now 3, and I do want to start with it. My name is Richard from DCC Netherlands. We are the local distributor from Senna Segura within this region. Senna Segura is a privileged access management vendor from South America, and they do have a really great remote access solution. And in this webinar, we will talk a little bit more about that. We will give an introduction why remote access is important, but also the benefits which Senna Segura can bring you, especially in the terms of user friendliness and security. It's really a great solution. And therefore, I want to give the floor to David so he can show you and tell you more about their solution.
Okay, everyone. Thank you, Richard, for the introduction. And thank you, everyone, for joining our webinar today. My name is David Muniz, and I work at Senha Segura. So today, we will take a look on how we can protect remote access through PAN. So first of all, I work at Senha Segura since 2017, and I first started helping developing Senha Segura's documentation, and I also participated in the last 4 years in the evaluation processes of the product by consulting firms such as Gartner, Forrester, IDG, and Copernicus. And with me, I have Richard, who represents Added Security, our partner in Europe, in the Netherlands, and they work in the field of privileged access management and endpoint protection. So without further ado, let's take a look at our agenda today. So we will take a look at the effects of digital transformation and the pandemic, of course, the challenges related to remote access. Then we'll take a look on how privileged access management addresses the issues of the remote workforce. Then we'll take a look on how Senha Segura helps mitigating risks related to remote access. Then we'll take a look at the benefits and results, and then we'll give a short demonstration of the product. So, well, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused a mass adoption of remote models in organizations of all segments. So we're not just talking about startups and technology companies. And from one day to the other, they were forced to offer access to their networks to users located outside of the infrastructure. And if you think if you think before the pandemic, if someone told us that companies, many of those globals, would be operating with almost 100% of their workforce working remotely, I don't think everybody here would believe them. But the pandemic kind of pressed the button of to move forward. Like, you know, those old VCRs, how they work? You just press a button and to move on also in the digital transformation process. And the working from home trend gained traction in a matter of a few weeks in a way that under normal condition would have taken years. Also, security leader, they have also accelerated the migration of the infrastructure to cloud environments. And we have data showing that according to Forrester, 52% of organizations surveyed indicated that the pandemic has caused a shift to cloud-based work models. And in these models, not only employees, but also third parties, they need to have access to critical systems through privileged credentials so they can perform their daily tasks. So now we have a new access paradigm. Everything now is on the cloud. So we're talking about hybrid environments. So we have on-premises and also cloud infrastructure in organizations. This new infrastructure paradigm is dynamic. So the cloud has lots of access, lots of privileged credentials, and we have machines that are created and eliminated, and this creates, expands the attack surface that can be explored by malicious actors. And finally, we have access. So with all of these new credentials in the cloud, they have multi-granular and dynamic access models. And even in a post-pandemic context, Gartner estimates that nearly 50% of workers working in the distributed models will remain working that way. And companies like Twitter, Apple, Facebook, for example, they have also followed this trend. Even though they are returning in some way to the office, but most of them will remain in the remote work model. Well, in my opinion, um, it's not a fact of going remote or going in person. I think the future will be in a hybrid model work model. So alternating people working remotely and in person work days. And now, since we're talking about remote work and everybody moving to the cloud and everybody staying outside of the office, we don't have a security perimeter anymore. So we're not just talking about the infrastructure. The infrastructure the security perimeter does not longer exist. So the remote work eliminates this concept of security perimeter. So everything needs to be constantly verified and checked in the environment. And not only that, we've seen lots of new data privacy regulation. GDPR, for example, was the pioneer of data privacy regulation, but we have also CCPA in the US, we have in Asia as well. So regardless if you do business only in Europe or outside of Europe, in Asia or in Brazil or in the US, you need to be compliant with data privacy regulation. And those private data privacy regulation, they have heavy sanctions that can directly affect business continuity, and is a great concern of security leaders. So we have this new legislation, GDPR, CCPA, Saudi Arabia. Those are some of the places that have data privacy regulation, and those regulations make it clear that companies are also responsible for their relationships with third parties. So whenever a data breach occurs with a third parties, companies are held responsible for that. And this is understandable, given that we have increased data breaches and data theft, and also that that has as consequence loss of revenue and loss of confidence of clients, employees, and partners. And for us to understand, those data protection laws, they require the protection, tracking, and control of the actions that are performed through privileged credentials that are used not only by remote work, but also by third parties. So GDPR, for example, has a maximum of 20 million euro of sanction, and this can directly affect business continuity. And to meet those obligations, companies, they are required to perform big operational changes in their infrastructure. Well, it's a good way to also mention in this webinar what are the costs that are associated with cybercrime. And according to a study by McAfee, the cybercrime cost the economy more than $1 trillion. And this is a 50% increase from 2018. And probably this number will continue to increase. Another interesting fact that I'd like to bring here is that 90% of the companies felt damages other than monetary losses. So we're just not talking about money. Other losses that companies can have are related to reduced efficiency, outage, operational costs for instant response, and damage to reputation and image. And nowadays, more and more people are considering trust as an aspect when relating to companies. So people that don't want to make business to companies that do not properly protect personal data. And in times of digital transformation, when we have increasingly competition between companies, this makes all difference to say if a business will have or will not have success. So third parties can be a threat. So if we remember the Edward Snowden case, this was a popular case of a third party that that performed malicious actions in the environment. And even though relationships with third parties have existed for a long time, the volume of the time of this contracting has grown considerably in recent years. So companies are now transferring to third parties responsibilities in their environment. And this includes suppliers, business partners, service providers, and consultants as well. And with these increasingly complex and geographically spread relationships, there are also a growth in the number of data breaches that have been attributed to them. And the biggest example of third party that perform malicious actions is Edward Snowden in this case. A great example here of cyber attacks that involved third parties. And the attack involved hackers that compromised the infrastructure of SolarWinds. And probably everyone here has heard about this cyber incident. SolarWinds is a company that produces network and applications monitoring platform. And the malicious attackers, they used SolarWinds infrastructure to distribute Trojanite updates to the software's users. And to give us an idea of how great this data breach was, the SolarWinds customers include more than 5 in more than 2 on 5 of the US Fortune 500 and top 10 US telecommunication company. Other companies that are also SolarWinds customer are the top 5 US accounting firms, the US military, the Pentagon, the State Department, and as well as hundreds of universities and colleges worldwide. Another example of a data breach involving third parties. So GE was, they were already a victim of a cyber attacks, 2 other cyber attacks. And it's worth remembering that this specific incident involved the leakage of sensitive personal data, such as the employees' birth certificates and passports, social security numbers, court orders, photos, and more than 200,000 employees were victims. They had their data breach in this security incident. Well, now that we see all the news that are related to data breaches related to third parties, so let's take a look at some numbers of those kind of attacks. The challenges that are related to third-party works, well, they are not new, but they are associated with a series of new business risks. And according to a study by the Panama Institute, an average company has 500 and 800 third parties with access in their environment. This is a number from last year. And for this year is expected an increase of 15%. And according to the same study, in the last 2 years, 53% of organizations that were surveyed in the study had at least one data breach that was caused by third parties. So more than half of those organizations, which makes this kind of access an important attack vector for organizations. And not only that, the average cost to remediate those data breaches was approximately $7.5 million. So considering that the infrastructure outside of the security perimeter of organizations, many of those responsible for information security, they have made their cybersecurity policies less strict. So, and they allowed users to perform unsecure access to their infrastructure. So before we had the security perimeter that protected everyone, and now we have people working with their own devices. So we have the BYOD paradigm in those companies. Those devices, sometimes they can have programs that are not homologated by, they're not approved by the security team. So this led to less strict security policies, and sometimes those endpoints, they even don't have any mechanism of control and monitoring of actions. Sometimes they only have a VPN to protect those accesses, and they don't have any more strict policies for users to have access in the environment. And what are the consequences that those actions can have? So with less strict policies, so we have misconfigured devices that are not approved by the security team. We don't have any control if the software is being updated. So with outdated software, malicious actors can exploit vulnerabilities in the environment. Sometimes we have unprotected networks. So people sometimes are working from home, and we don't know if those networks are properly protected, if those devices are updated, if those modems or routers are properly updated. And then this can lead to privilege abuse, to credential theft. So for example, with a phishing attack, with a social engineering attack, we can also have credential theft that can lead to improper data access and also the lack of governance by the security team in those devices and those applications. This results in greater attack surface and a greater exposure to cyber risks. And for the business, we have reputational damage, loss of revenue, loss of trust, not only by clients, but also by partners, suppliers, and why not say employees as well. In all of those aspects, they can directly contribute to affect business continuity. And we usually say that cybersecurity risks are continuously associated with business risks. And some cybersecurity teams are even now related, and they respond directly to the management and not only to the IT department, because business leaders are looking at cybersecurity risks as business risks that can directly affect business continuity. Now, Let's see how we can mitigate risks that are associated with remote access management. Well, according to a report from Tenio, for 30% of the organization surveyed, one of the risky behaviors in infrastructure is the improper administrative access. And to address this, 38% of organizations are increasingly investing in zero trust based architectures. And 55% are investing in identity and access management technologies, such as privileged access management. And what are the aspects that are involved in this issue? So first, we have the infrastructure. We've seen before that the number of application and IT devices has increased exponentially. So, and we have not only devices, but we have DevOps applications, we have virtual machines, we have IoT assets, and all of these devices in the infrastructure, they use privileged credentials to allow users to perform access, and lots of those accesses are performed by suppliers and also third parties. And to address this issue, we have the control, management, and monitoring of all privileged access that are performed in the environment. So privileged access tools, we need them to fully address PAM challenges. However, a significant effort is needed to address both people and process. So in this case, we have to properly address privileged access management issues, we have processes, people, and tools. And we like to say that it's useless to only address the tools aspect and to implement privileged access management tool. We have to address the people aspect and also the people aspect in the privileged access management paradigm. And if you implement the privileged access management tool without addressing people and processes, it does not indicate that you are properly mitigating security risks. And this also implicates in a longer time to security maturity and also higher operational costs. And that's not what we want. The purpose is that we use the tools, the processes, and the people to reduce operational costs and to increase agility in detecting and mitigating cybersecurity risks. And to address all the risks that are related to privileged access management by third parties and by users as well, we at Senha Segura, we have developed Domon. That is our tool for remote work and remote access anywhere the user is. And this is what Senha Segura Domon is. It's a tool that was designed to solve problems that are associated with remote work of third-party employees. And Senha Segura is a SaaS solution that offers users secure zero trust-based access to corporate infrastructure devices from wherever they are. And this is done without the need for VPN, any agent installation and licensing or additional configuration. So we don't need any additional license to use Senha Segura Domon. We only need the Senha Segura license, of course, but this includes if we acquire if the company acquires Damon, then this is the only thing that they need to perform the access. And it is important to mention that it does not require any username and passwords. The user only needs a link that is sent out to them, and they will be able to instantly access any device that is managed by the pen tool. Senha Segura's Damon offers just-in-time access, and it allows the administrators to configure model-level access workflows. So Senha Segura is the only PAM solution that allows model-level approval. So we can have a manager, I don't know, a manager, a coordinator, and another in a C-level, for example, to approve the access, and the access is granted only when the highest level approving user approves the access, and this increases the level of security in the environment. And in addition to that, Damon offers industry recognized granular access from the Senha Segura PAM security platform. And from Senha Segura Damon, it is possible to increase access maturity through the limitation of geographic region. This is what we call geofence, and this allows the administrators to restrict access and also to generate alerts and to prevent, for example, accesses from unauthorized regions. So let's say that the user is located in the Netherlands. So in this case, the access will only be able, the user will only be able to perform the access through the specific location. It is also possible to configure specific days and times. So limit the access by specific days and specific time of the days as well. And it is also possible to configure Damon to perform the access by a specific number of privileged sessions. So this is the architecture that is offered by Damon. So the connection is done by a secure gateway and through a secure channel. And this gateway is offered in Senha Segura's infrastructure. And then through this infrastructure, we can offer the connection from the user to the infrastructure in the company. So this is the external access flow. So through the tool, after the predetermined authorized time, the access is revoked and the link is no longer valid. This prevents, for example, the employee or third party from proceeding with potentially malicious privilege actions on devices in the infrastructure. And Senha Segura also allows the user to configure additional security mechanisms. So like MFA that is performed by token to perform the remote access. And this increases the security in the remote access. In this case, the MFA is configured on the user's first login, and it will not be required anymore for the next logins that the user performed. So just explaining the workflow here. So the administrators, they request access for the third party. Then the manager approves the access. Then the user will receive a unique link to perform the access. Then the user perform the access through Senha Segura's gateway in the infrastructure. And whenever it is configured by the factors that we previously say. So let's say number of access, the time, the date, then the link will expire, and it will not be possible to perform another access in the environment. Well, Daemon also inherits all the features that are offered by Senha Segura, and this includes real-time monitoring of the actions that are performed in the environment. The live stream feature, for example, it allows an auditor to verify the actions that are performed by users in real time, and the auditor is able to block or even terminate the remote sessions in case, for example, a non-compliance or if a malicious action is detected. Senha Segura Domo also allows the auditor to flag a high-risk remote session for further evaluation by another auditor as well. And other features that are offered by Senha Segura Domo that are inherited from Senha Segura PAM, it includes session recording, and it is important to mention that our recording capabilities, the videos are stored in a high compressed format, so the company does not have to have great concerns about storage and backups of the remote session video files. And Senha Segura also offers artificial intelligence and machine learning based threat analysis and user behavior analysis. So the administrator, they can set up the risk of the actions that are performed. So let's say, for example, that a specific command, they can be attributed as high risk and or as a low risk, depending on how the information security policies in the company are implemented. And of course, all the text logs, they can be sent out to CM, syslog, so everything that is performed in the environment is properly monitored, and the SOC team is able to evaluate all the actions that have been performed in the environment. Senha Segura Domo also takes advantage of all the access logging features offered by Senha Segura. So the administrator, they can configure the reports. They can also take advantage of our information dashboard, which is a graphic representation of all the privileged sessions that are performed in the environment. And as I've said before, Senha Segura Domo also integrates with CM and syslog for maximum monitoring of privilege actions that are performed in the environment. And the exclusive dashboards that are offered by Senha Segura Domo can be used to analyze the sizing of the solution in the form of KPIs. And those KPIs can be, for example, the number of accesses, the number of user, the access times, the session risk score, the geolocation. So it is also possible to visualize alerts geographically that is represented in the threat radar. And it also allows HR, for example, to evaluate the performance of those third parties in the environment. So the company can use those KPIs to analyze and to evaluate how the third parties are performing in the environment. So the benefits of Senha Segura Domo, just to finish this first part of our presentation. So we have reduced operational costs for the cybersecurity team. So the time that are spent to evaluate, to analyze all the actions that have been performed in the environment is reduced. And let's remind us that, for example, GDPR, it demands the security team to proper report any data breach within 48 hours after it has been discovered. So with Senha Segura, the cybersecurity team can speed up the reporting process time, and also to gather the maximum of information of what the privilege actions have been performed in the environment. And this allows also the information security team to have total governance of all the privilege access that have been performed in the environment, and also reduce the attack surface and cybersecurity risks. And probably everyone that is watching this session in their company, they're probably concerned about those cybersecurity risks, because these, as I said before, this can directly affect business continuity. Okay. So, of course, I forgot to mention that you are all welcome to send out your questions in the Q&A. Also take the opportunity to tell us, what is the posture of your cybersecurity team? What is the posture of your company when it relates to third parties? Do you have lots of third parties? What is the percentage of those third parties in your environment? So I invite you to interact with us while I open the environment to perform the demonstration. Do you have anything to add here, Richard, before I move on to the demo?
No, I just wanted to say that it was a really great presentation, showing more insights in why this topic is important. But I think it's most important that we can talk a lot about how to do it and what to do about it. But I think it will make more sense for people if they can actually see how simple it can be done. So let's continue with the demo and show people actually the benefits. That actually within a couple of seconds they can actually create access for third-party vendors and deliver that in a secure way within their organization.
Excellent. So let me show you here this. Okay. So I'm just accessing here the our demo environment. So I have authenticated with my user. So I just put it here to configure MFA, so I can also show you how it works. So I'm just opening my Google Authenticator, and of course you can use any other authentication software. So I will, this way I can configure and I can validate the token. Just hold on. I'm just showing you this to show you how MFA works with Senha Segura.
I think it's also good to mention that setting up the token only needs to be done the first time when you get access. So as soon as you set it up yourself, you don't need to fill in the token anymore. Then you just have the 30 seconds available key in your authenticator. Like David said, whether that's Google or Microsoft or any other platform, that doesn't really matter. It's just to give you the token to get access to the solution. So also with this, customers don't need a username or a password. They only need the token to log in.
So this is the main screen of Senha Segura. So I will come here and then I will click on Domon. I assume that you're probably able to see my screen, right? Let me know if you're not able to do that.
We can see it.
Okay. So here we have the dashboards that are offered by the solution. So as I said before, there is a graphic representation of all the accesses that are performed. So the employee groups, the number of employees, the number of vendors, the number of third parties. So we can see all of these informations in the different dashboards that are offered by the tool. So I will come here and I will, let's say, register a new third party. Then I'll come here on new. Then I can select a vendor and a specific user. So let's say this, David Muniz. I request a new access. So a new reason, a justification why I need to perform the access. So let's say maintenance. The reason, change, for example, or an incident. I can also associate this with a business, with a ITSM ticket. So let's say that you're talking about these tickets. Then we have the credentials that the user can perform the access. So let's say that we're talking about this credential and the admin demo credentials. So I add this. So the user can start the session and view the password. And I said before, I can also set up the permission period, the permission days, the permission times, the number of sessions, and then I can just, I can select the duration that the access will have, and then I can just save it. Then I will, let me open my email here that I have set up. Hold on. So just have to wait for the link to be received. So in this case, okay. So the user will receive an email just like this. So you have a new access to Senha Segura Domain approved. So I can just click here on this button. Then I have to confirm with the token. Let me just check this. Oh, does not match. I have lots of tokens here configured. So let's. No. Does not match. Just a moment. I probably have to configure this email again. I have set up a new link to be sent out. So here it is. So whenever I open the link, this is the screen that will be shown up. And then the user will be able to access the credential and the device that has the access has been improved. So I can here perform the actions in the environment. So, and this session is being recorded. So whenever I come here in the PEM tool, so let's see this, I can view through the radar, the access radar, everything that is performed in the environment. So let's say, for example, here I now go on dashboard. I have access to the threat radar. So in this case, the administrator is able to see all the actions that are performed in the environment. So let's say, for example, that I'd like to perform a live stream of the session. So me as an administrator, I can view in real time everything that is performed through in the environment. So I can, in this case, block any action, and I can see here in the screen. Or let's say that the user is performing a malicious action. So I can drop the session. So in this case, the session will be terminated. So you can see here, you have been disconnected, and then the user is no longer able to perform any action in the environment. And then we can have here all the reports, the sessions that are performed, the accesses as well. I can have the access to the access groups, the approvals, the requests, and I can also view the settings of the vendors and also the access reasons and everything that is related to third-party access. Okay. So hopefully this demo clarifies what Senha Segura Domo is able to perform. And with this, I also invite you to request a demo from our partner, from editors.
What we will do is we will send the recording out to everybody attended and signed up for the webinar. And after that, we would also get in touch with them, and then we can always book in a 30-minute personal demo, so people can actually see it a little bit more, and we can dive a little bit more deeper into that. But that we can take up from the recordings we send out.
Excellent. And with this, I finish my presentation and I hand over to you, Richard.
Thank you, David. As mentioned, we will send out the recording, everybody attended and everybody signed up for the webinar. So please have a look back at it if you want. And as I mentioned before, we can also plan in personalized demos for you and your team, where we can take like 30, 45 minutes and dive more into the solution, show a little bit more about the privileged access management aspects and other possibilities within the platform. Domo is just a small part of it, and there's way more what you can do with Senha Segura, and we are happy to show you. I did look at the Q&A. I don't think we have any questions so far. So if that's it, then I think we can wrap it up. And yeah, if you have any more questions, just respond to the email you will receive today or tomorrow, and then we can take it from there.
Excellent. Well, I must say that Senha Segura has been evaluated as with the second highest rate in the Gartner's Critical Capabilities report. So it is important to mention that our open connectors allows the security team to connect with pretty much any device, including legacy devices, and those legacy devices can also be managed and be accessed through Senha Segura Domo. And not only that, our support and service score is the highest in the PEM market. And Senha Segura is very easy to be implemented through our virtual machine. The cybersecurity team is able to make it work in less than a day, while our competitors can take days or even weeks to be implemented. So, and we don't require any additional licensing to be purchased by the client. So you don't have to worry about operating system. You don't have to worry about databases, because this is all integrated and embedded in the PEM solution. So with that, I finalize my part. And if you don't have anything to add here, Richard, I thank everyone to participate in our session. And please feel free to contact Richard and all the DCC team to have further information about Senha Segura and also privilege access management.
No, I don't have anything to add for now. Thank you, David, for your time and your explanation. We will get in touch with everybody personal to follow up on this webinar to see if there's any more questions.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.